Hello and welcome to Mission Alive. While we're together at this time, I would like to talk about two men who really helped each other to become what God wanted them to become. The first one was Giuseppe Sarto, a poor farmer's son in Italy. His father was so poor that Giuseppe carried his shoes to school over his shoulder. When he got to school, he put his shoes on, and when school was finished, he carried his shoes home over his shoulders so as not to wear them out, not to cause his family unnecessary expense. So Giuseppe Sarto grew up and became a priest, became a bishop, became a cardinal. And so when the Pope died, Giuseppe Sarto was called to the Vatican to be part of the meeting that would elect the new Pope. During that time, it became obvious that men were looking at Giuseppe Sarto. This was a humble man. This was a good man. This was a man of God. And so Giuseppe Sarto's numbers started to go up. Each time they voted, more and more voted for Giuseppe Sarto. Giuseppe Sarto could see that they were wanting him to be Pope, and he certainly didn't want that. So he went into the chapel to pray about it. What does God really want me to do? And while he was praying, a young priest came in and put his hand on his shoulder and said to him, "Courage, my father, courage." Then Giuseppe Sarto went out and said to the cardinals, "If you elect me, I will accept." It wasn't what he wanted, but he knew it was what God wanted. These men were telling him what God wanted. And so he became Pope Pius X, and he had to choose a Secretary of State. And who did he choose? He chose the young man, Merry del Val, who had put his hand on his shoulder. Merry del Val didn't want to be Secretary of State. He wanted to go home to England to work among his own people. He wanted that so much, to work among his own people. So this time he went in the chapel to pray. What does God want me to do? To stay here with the Pope or go home to England? And while he was praying, Pius X, the new Pope, came and put his hand on his shoulder and said to him, "Courage, my son, courage." What the priest had said to the bishop, now the Pope was saying to the priest. And so Merry del Val and Pope Pius X became great figures in our church. I would like to read to you something that Merry del Val wrote, and I read a long time ago, and I've always kept because I think it's very important. "Only to rest where he puts me, only to do his will, only to be what he made me, though I be nothing still. Never a look beyond me, out of this little sphere. If I could fill another, God would not keep me here. Only to take what he gives me, meek as a little child, questioning naught of the reason, joyful or reconciled. Only to do what he bids me, patiently, gladly today, taking no thought of tomorrow, leaning on him all the way. Only to look at him ever, only to sit at his feet, all that he says to do it, then shall my life be complete." Merry del Val says, only to rest where he puts me, not in England, but in Rome. For Giuseppe Sarto, not among the people, but at the Vatican. Only never a look beyond me, never a look wanting to be something else, wanting to be who I am not. Do you know who you are? Or are you stretching to be somebody else? Yes, it's good to strive. It's good to strive to become better and better. But to be where God wants me to be. And for that, it has to go to the last verse. Only to look at him ever. When Pius X didn't know what to do, he went to Jesus in the tabernacle and prayed. He went to his room and prayed. When Merry del Val didn't know what to do, he knew what he wanted to do, but he didn't know what he really had to do. And so he went and prayed, and somebody came and helped him. Courage, my son, courage. Sometimes the things we have to do in life are not the things that we really want to do. So this week, look at your life. Are you where God wants you to be? Are you who God wants you to be? Are you becoming who God wants you to be? Never a look beyond me, out of this little sphere into another place. This is where God wants me to be. Take care, have courage, and goodbye until next time.